Greetings, dear colleagues. It's a pleasure to be with you here today at this international conference. And I'm going to share my screen with you so we can view the PowerPoint. Here we go. Okay, I'm going to speak on LIS Research Trends 2017 through 2021. What is research? According to McClure and Herndon, research is any conscious, premeditated inquiry, an investigation that seeks to increase one's knowledge of a given situation. It's from the Old and Middle French word meaning to seek. Understanding the research process is vital in order to serve others who do research. This is why it's important in our field. Another reason, identifying and understanding patterns of collection use improve the ability to understand user needs and behavior. 3, learning to master theoretically and in practical application the ground rules of research creates the best foundation for continued growth in a profession. 4, it can result in improved decision-making, more knowledgeable insights into a wealth of library issues, better and more accountable services and programs, and the continued maturation of LIS as a discipline or profession. And 5, last but not least, conducting, presenting, and/or publishing research can contribute to personal and professional advancement. Now, research may be categorized in various ways. One way is argumentative versus analytical. Argumentative research is a type of research done in the humanities generally. They develop a thesis statement, which has a point of view, and then they build a case for this thesis in a persuasive manner. Analytical research, more the type of research that we do in the social sciences and hard sciences, is a development of a problem statement, which is objective. It does not have a point of view. Research questions or hypotheses are developed to investigate a research problem in an objective manner. Another way to classify research is qualitative versus quantitative. Quals use methods such as historiography, ethnography, and qualitative sociology, investigating themes in documents, observations, and interviews to build conclusions. Quants are interested in finding patterns using descriptive or inferential statistics. Mixed methodology combines aspects of both the qualitative and the quantitative methodologies. Research trends. Let me move this a little bit over here. For this study, I used a strategy to search the 3 main LIS databases available to us at USM, University of Southern Mississippi, LIS, LISTA, and ISTA. And the search strategy I used was key concepts, for each of the types of research we're going to talk about, such as qualitative. And for each of these key concepts, I would search in the title field or the subject descriptor field. I felt like this is one of my favorite types of strategies because it combines Boolean and field searching. And this is a powerful type of searching that retrieves a rich number of articles that are relevant to the topic that you're looking for. The results were limited to peer-reviewed articles published in English from 2017 through 2021, and also published in academic journals. There are a couple of assumptions built into this type of research. One of them is that LIS databases are indexed accurately and completely so that relevant articles are retrieved. Another is articles retrieved with the key concepts that we used in this study and with the appropriate limiters are representative of the body of LIS research in general. Okay. Now let's talk about general research trends by type of research, qualitative, quantitative, and mixed. I did a search for each of these terms, qualitative, and then quantitative, and then mixed. I did 3 separate searches. And then I also searched with each term by a particular year. So you could see the general trend. And qualitative research, a very nice, steady rise, except for 2021. And I think we have to have a caveat for that year because of embargo. It could be that not all the articles published in 2021 have been indexed yet. So, but up until that time, that's a nice trend in qualitative research. Quantitative, it was surprising to me that there was more qualitative than quantitative, but nevertheless, you can see it's a general upward trend, not as strong, and a pretty strong upward trend in mixed methodology, which is nice to see. Okay, one of the most popular types of LIS research is using a survey or questionnaire. And that is the collection of information from a sample of individuals through their responses to questions. And an example of this is information needs and seeking behavior of paramedical staff in the hospitals of Khyber in Pakistan. And here is a snapshot of those articles that were retrieved using the keywords survey or questionnaire in the title field or the subject field. And strong numbers, not a tremendous upward trend, but still a strong trend and a generally upward trend. You could look from 2017 to 2020, for instance, and see a nice, strong increase. A little bit down in 21, but again, perhaps not all the articles are indexed yet. Observational research is another type of study. It involves a researcher observing a subject without interference. Typically, you want to observe people in a very unobtrusive way. An example of this is Seek and You Shall Find, an observational study of music students' library catalog search behavior. And here, this was quite unexpected to see the strong trend in observational research from 2017 through 2021 even. Another type of study is bibliometric or scientometric. And this covers quite a bit, that term. I like to divide it into studies that focus on productivity versus studies that focus on impact. And this first set focuses on productivity. And in general, bibliometric research is defined as the use of mathematical and statistical methods to study and identify patterns in the use of materials and services within a library, or the historic development of a specific body of literature, especially its authorship, publication, and use. And scientometrics is a subset of bibliometrics because it focuses specifically on the literature of science and technology. Now, one part of bibliometric research focuses on publication pattern or productivity. And we're all aware of scholars, we're expected to be productive, to publish, to present. So productivity measures the number of articles published per year on a particular topic, and you can determine publication trend over time, as we are doing in this study. Core journals, in which journals are articles on a particular topic are published. This is related to Bradford's law of scatter. Authorship pattern, such as the most prolific authors on a given topic, which is related to Lotka's law. An example of this type of research is literature of pediatric nursing, a bibliometric analysis. Okay, and here is the scientific publication trend on bibliometric or scientometric on productivity, focused on productivity. And you can see the numbers are strong. The trend is downward a little bit, not a great decrease, but somewhat of a decrease, up a little bit in 21. Now, this type of bibliometric research, citation analysis, focuses on impact. And I believe you are probably familiar with the journal citation report, which lists the journals in rank order from various fields. And the rank order is by impact, or how often other scholars cite items from that journal. Usage is another way of saying impact. As scholars, we want to be productive, and our productivity will be measured, and also our impact, what impact we're having on the field, as determined by how many other people are using our works, citing our works. An example would be disciplinary differences in student use of library provided materials in dissertations. And this study, they looked at the works cited list in a set of dissertations to see if the works cited in those dissertations, to what degree they were library provided materials. Now, if you're interested in finding your own impact in your profession, in your field, there are many tools that you can use. I like Google Scholar citations. You can put in the citations to all your work, and Google Scholar will search the internet for any time that your work is cited by others, and it will calculate your impact. Okay, citation analysis. It shows a downward trend. And perhaps it's because there's so much software available now to track impact. So perhaps this is the reason, but it's difficult to say. But it's definitely a downward trend. Okay, altmetrics is kind of a bigger umbrella than bibliometrics because it includes the social web, and it looks for, as far as from a scholar's perspective, anytime your work is mentioned, across the social web, that's what it looks for. And there are many types of software, some that libraries subscribe to, that looks for and tracks for mentions of their scholars in a university, say. One example is monitoring the broader impact of journal publication output on an institutional level, a case study for the University of Vienna. Okay, and altmetric analysis. This is the trend. It went up, and then the past few years, rather flat, rather steady. I'm not sure what that indicates, but I thought this was an interesting pattern. Another interesting type of research is webmetric, webometric, or web analysis. It analyzes web content or the impact or usage. This is very useful when you analyze, say, the web pages of an institution or institutions, and to see what kind of services and resources are provided by library websites. For instance, this article, Assessing an Institution's Footprint in Web 2.0, a comparative analysis of university library websites in Bangladesh. These type of studies can be very inspirational to look and see which websites rate the highest for those who are in charge of library websites, to see how they might upgrade their website. Webometric and web analysis, the literature publications, it's an uneven. It dipped down in 2019 for some reason, and then it's back up a little dip down to 2021. Again, perhaps not all the articles are indexed. Another type of research that's very useful and practical is collection analysis or assessment or evaluation. It determines the extent to which a collection meets a library's service goals and objectives and the information needs of its clientele. And it can be of two main parts: collection-centered, where you study what's in a collection, and you could compare that to, say, recommended list or award-winning list or things like that. You could analyze a collection that way, or you could analyze a collection by the usage of it, say circulation pattern statistics. An example would be lost but not forgotten, an inventory and use analysis of an undergraduate art book collection. And this is interesting because they look at both types. A collection analysis focus on the collection and focuses on the use. And here's a look at the research articles related to this type of study. It's a general upward trend, I would say, which is good. This is, in my opinion, a practical and useful type of research. The next is there are two closely related topics I put together: spatial analysis and wayfinding, because they're related. Spatial analysis seeks to explain patterns of human behavior and its spatial expression, or in other words, locational analysis. An example of this would be if public libraries have a list of their patrons and they have any kind of geographic information in there. In the United States, it could be city, state, county, or zip code. Whatever type of geographic information that you have in your patron list, you could put that into GIS software and do a visualization to see where are your patrons concentrated, what areas that are sparse that you don't have many patrons. And this can be a valuable tool to develop, outreach. And you can also add things like demographic information, things like that. Wayfinding is similar. It's the process of finding your way to a destination in a familiar or unfamiliar setting using environmental cues. And this has to do with signage. For instance, walking into a library you've never been in before and determining where things are, looking at the signage, looking at any kind of posted directions, arrows on the floor, what kind of signage is there to help the patron. A useful article, if this is interesting to you, this type of research, is comparing different methodologies used in wayfinding research and library facilities. Okay. And I put these two together using spatial analysis or wayfinding in the title field or the subject field. And it's growing a bit down in 2021. Not a strong, increase. And 2021 is a little bit iffy yet. Another type of research is meta-analysis, the study of related similar studies on the same topic. You identify similar studies and put them together and, see if you can determine a trend by looking at all of them together, lumped together. An example would be smartphone overuse and visual impairment in children and young adults, a systematic review and meta-analysis. And here's what the published literature looks like. A big increase in 2019 and 20 compared to the previous 2 years, down a bit in 2021. Again, we'll have to give that a little time to see if it's still a strong research trend. Now, what conclusions can we reach from all of this information? And one is there's a general increase in LIS research from 2017 through 2020. Some of the categories, there's a decrease in 2021, not all, but some, and it could be due to an embargo of articles, and perhaps not all of them have been indexed yet. The highest number of LIS research articles were in the category of survey or questionnaire, and greater than 1,000 per year. The greatest increase was observational research, over 900% increase from 2017 to 2021. The greatest decrease in citation analysis, down 63%. And again, I have to speculate if this isn't because of the wealth of software we have now that can analyze citations and who is citing who and automatically calculate impact and things like that. So It'll be interesting to do the study again in a few years to see how the trend goes, if anything changes. I'll be posting this on slideshare.net. And so it'll be available to you at this address, or you can Google it, slideshare.net. And my ID is Dr. T. Welsh, all lowercase. And it was a pleasure to present this, and I hope it will inspire you to continue to do LIS research and enrich our field with your research. Thank you very much.